Namaste students. I hope you all are fine. Our today's topic is capital structure. The most important topic from chapter number 9, financial management. Capital structure is basically proportionate of debt and equity. In order to understand the clear meaning of capital structure, it is essential to know the meaning of two relative terms, that is capitalization and financial structure. As you all know, the business finance, on the basis of ownership, the sources of business finance can be categorized in two categories: owners fund and borrowed fund. Owners fund, the fund which are raised from the owners, like equity share capital, preference share capital, retained earning. These all are the owners fund. And on the other hand, borrowed fund, which are borrow from outside, which are raised from outside, that is a borrowed fund, like issue of debentures, loan from bank, loan from financial institutions, public deposits, etc. These are the borrowed fund. And the capital structure is a mix of owners fund and borrowed fund. So I will explain you the meaning of capital structure, but first let us understand capitalization and financial structure. Suppose a company is in need of rupees 10 lakh. This is basically a liability side of a balance sheet, and its aggregate is 10 lakh rupees, means total of this balance sheet is 10 lakh rupees. And the percentage of total capital is also given. See here, equity share capital, preference share capital, borrowed fund, retained profit and current liabilities. It means long-term sources as well as short-term sources as given in the balance sheet. And here is a percentage of total capital. It means the equity share capital is 45% of total capital, total liability side. Or here preference shares are 22.5%, borrowed fund is 11.25% of total this thing. This is known as a financial structure. As I told you, before I explain the meaning of capital structure, we should know the meaning of capitalization and financial structure. So, the liability side of any balance sheet is known as a financial structure, in which long-term sources as well as short-term sources of capital includes. That is known as a financial structure. And when we exclude this short-term source, means when we exclude the current liabilities from the financial structure, that is said to be a capitalization. Means this thing is known as a capitalization, in which we take all the long-term sources of capital. That is a capitalization. And the relative proportion of this, see under this is given this is a percentage of long-term capital sources only. If we exclude the current liabilities, means short term, it means we have a long term sources rupees 9 lakh. Now the equity share capitals are 50% of the long term capital sources. Preference share capitals are 25% of long term sources. Borrowed capital is 12.5% of long term sources. And this is retained profit is also 12.5% of total long-term capitals, long-term sources of capital. So this is known as a capitalization. And the relative proportion means the proportion in this equity, the long-term, all the long-term sources like equity, preference, retained earning, debenture, this is known as a capital structure. Financial structure is a complete balance sheet of a company, long term as well as short term. And when we exclude this current liabilities, that is known as a capitalization. And the capital structure is a relative proportion of long term capital sources. So financial structure is basically a aggregate of long term as well as the short term sources of capital. Clear? It includes both the things. And the capitalization is basically a aggregate of total long term capital sources, and the capital structure basically refers to the relative proportion of long term sources. Relative proportion, how much percent is this? That is known as a capital structure. So we can say capitalization is basically a quantitative term, means total is 9 lakh in a quantitative term, but the capital structure is related with the qualitative term. Qualitative term, you may say, means 50% is of equity share. 50% is equity share, preference share 25%, this is 12.5% and 12.5%. That mix of owner fund and borrowed fund means the capital structure is basically a proportionate, relative proportionate of long-term sources of capital. Clear this thing? So, the capital structure is a combination of debt, equity and other financial resources that a company raised from the long-term finance sources. Clear this thing? So, capital structure is a combination of, or you may say, capital structure refers to mix between the shareholder fund, which is equity, and the borrowed fund, which is debt. So, the proportion of debt and equity is known as a capital structure. Debt and equity, capital structure can be calculated as debt and equity ratio, which is debt and equity. Debt capital and equity capital, I have to tell you something about debt and equity. Debentures are basically, if we talk about the cost of debt is basically less than the cost of equity. Why? Because we pay a fixed amount of interest on the debenture. It's fixed. It's not affected by the earning of the company. But on the other hand, the equity shareholder, the dividend rate is comparatively high. Now why high and why debenture cost is less, interest rate is less? As in the hand of shareholder or the money lender, the debentures are comparatively less risky because they know if whether the company earns profit or loss, they'll get their interest. But shareholder, in the case of shareholder, they know if the company will not earn profit, they will not get the dividend. So the debentures are comparatively less risky in the hand of holder and this in the hand of that person who is going to lend the money. But the shareholders are comparatively more risky because they know they will not get the dividend. So the cost of debt is comparatively less and the cost of equity is more. The interest rate on the debentures is comparatively less, but on the equities are comparatively high. If we talk about risk to the company, not to the shareholders. Now if we talk about the risk, the debentures are more risky as the payment of interest and the principal is obligation, the compulsory for the company, even in the case of loss. But this equity capital, that is comparatively less risky for the company. Why? Because if company will not earn profit, they will not pay the dividend and they will not pay the capital amount, they will pay the capital at last only. Clear this thing? So if we talk about cost, the cost of debt is comparatively less, but the cost of equity is more. On the other hand, debentures are more risky because they can sue the company if will not pay the interest. But the shareholder is comparatively less risky because they doesn't have any right to sue the company in the court because they are the owner of the company. So capital structure is basically a relative proportion of borrowed fund and shareholder fund. Borrowed fund means debt and the owner's fund is equity. And we can calculate capital structure with this formula. Debt equity ratio means debt and equity, debt upon equity, the proportion. the relative proportion of debt and equity, or the proportion of debt in total capital, means total capital long term, that is borrowed fund and shareholder fund, debt and equity. What will be the proportion of debt out of the total capital? That is also known as a capital structure. Clear? Or one more thing, the proportion of debt in total capital is also known as financial leverage. It's a new word for you. Financial leverage. Financial leverage is basically a proportion of debt in the total capital, means how much debt we are using out of the total capital. That is known as a financial leverage. If the financial leverage increases, the cost of debt decreases. Now why decreases? Because we are using the cheaper source of finance. We are using debt in case of equities. So when the financial leverage, when we use the more debts, when this debt will increase, means the proportion of debt will increase in this total capital. From this total capital, means when the financial leverage increase, the cost of debt will be decreased because of excess use of cheaper source of finance. On the other hand, financial risk will increase. Financial risk will increase because the interest on debentures and the principal amount, the payment of principal amount is basically a compulsory payment or an obligation for a company. So that's why financial risk will be increased. Now what is this financial risk? Financial risk is basically that when the company would, if the company would fail to pay the payment obligation, that is known as a financial risk. So financial risk is a chance that the company would fail to pay the fixed obligations like interest on debentures, the payment principal amount of debentures, or any borrowed fund. That is known as a financial risk. If a company would fail to pay the obligation, that is known as a financial risk. Because see, when we increase the use of debenture out of total capital, it means when the proportion of debt increase, when the financial leverage increase, then the cost of debt will decrease. Why? Because we are using the cheaper source of finance. Clear? On the other hand, financial risk will be increased. That is known as a situation where the financial leverage increases, cost of debt decreases, but the financial risk increase, and financial risk I had explained. So thus we can say the capital structure affects the profitability as well as the financial risk of the business. I hope capital structure is clear to you. Capital structure is basically a proportion of debt and equity, or you may say a proportion of debt out of total capital, and this situation is also known as financial leverage. Financial leverage is a total debt, the proportion of debt in a total capital. So the capital structure means the proportion of debt and equity affect the financial risk as well as the profitability of a business. Now, the impact of financial leverage can be seen through this EBIT and EPS analysis. Now, what is this EBIT and EPS? EBIT is the earning before interest and tax. Earning before interest and tax. EPS is the earning per share. As we all know, the main motive, the main objective of financial management to increase the shareholders' wealth by increasing the earning per share. Now, how earning per share will increase? Now, this is also one case in which that will help in increasing the earning per share of shareholders. Now, how? Financial leverage basically affect the profitability of a business. How? For explaining this, I have taken one example. For example, a X limited company has a total capital employed 30 lakh. Tax rate is 30%. Interest on debt means interest is given. Interest obligation 10%. On debt means on borrowed fund. EBIT means earning also given before interest and tax, which is 4 lakh. That is given. Now here I have taken three situations. In first situation, the company is raising fund through equity only, means total 30 lakh they have raised from equity only and there is no debt. That is nil. It means the company has raised funds only and only from equity. In second situation, the X Limited raised 20 lakh from equity and debenture also they have issued for, debt. Borrowed fund is 10 lakh. In third situation, the company issued 10 lakh, the company raised fund through equity rupees 10 lakh and from debt rupees 20 lakh. See, in first situation there is no debt. In second situation means no borrowed fund. In second situation the borrowed funds are less than the equity, and in third case borrowed fund is more than the equity. Here the proportion of debt is more out of the capital. Here it's less and here nil. Clear this thing? Now number of share, because earning per share will calculate through this number of shares only. In first situation we have 3 lakh shares. In second situation we have 2 lakh shares. If the company share price is 10 rupees. In third case we have 1 lakh share. Now this was the question. Now we are going to start our question. In question, earning is given, EBIT, for all the situation, for all three situations. EBIT is 4 lakh. In this case also it's 4 lakh. In third situation also it's 4 lakh. Clear? Now, earning before interest and tax is given. Interest rate is given to us. Now we have to calculate EBT, which is interest before tax only. It means we have to less the interest. Less interest, which is 10%. Now here we don't have borrowed fund. We will not less any interest, but there is no interest obligation. Here we have 10 lakh. 1 lakh we will minus. And here we have 2 lakh. It means 2 lakh we will minus. 20 lakh we have. Now EBT is, in this case we have 4 lakh earning. In this case we have 3 lakh earning. And in this case we have 2 lakh earning. Clear? Now come to the tax. On this earning we have to pay tax, less tax 40%. Sorry, 30% is given. 30% means 1,20,000 we will minus from here. 30% on this 90,000 and 60,000 here. Clear? Now we have earning after tax. That is 2,80,000, 2,10,000, 1,40,000. Clear? Now we'll calculate earning per share. Earning per share, which is equal to earning after tax, because this we are going to distribute among the shareholder, divided by number of shares. Number of shares are given 3 lakh, 2 lakh and 1 lakh. Means 2,80,000 divided by 3 lakh. It's 0.93. 2,10,000 divided by 2 lakh. 1.05. 1,40,000 divided by 1 lakh, 1.40. So these are the earning per share. Now see, X Limited is earning 0.93 when there is no debt. They are earning 1.05 when there is a 10 lakh, means less debt, and they are earning 1.40 per share when there is a more debt. Clear this thing? See, when the company issued more debt, then the earning per share will increase. Now, will it happen in every case? No, this will not happen in every case. This happens because the return on investment is more than the interest on debt. Means the cost of debt is less than the cost of equity. That's why it's happened. When we use more debts, the earning per share has increased. Clear? Now, when the company intentionally issue more debts to increase the earning per share of the company, that situation is known as a trading on equity. Trading on equity. Equity everyone knows. Equity is owner's fund, and trading on means giving advantage to them. Now, when the company issue or company use more debts to give benefit, to give advantage to the shareholder, so that their earning per share increase, that situation is known as a trading on equity. Trading on equity is a situation in which the companies issue more debts, the company increase the use of debt to give the benefit, to the shareholders, to give the benefit to the owners of the company, so that their earning per share will increase. That situation is known as a trading on equity, and that is not trading on equity. We can't use in every situation. This will happen when there is a favorable financial leverage. Favorable financial leverage. Now, what is this favorable financial leverage? Financial leverage, we know when the proportion of debt, is debt out of the capital is known as a financial leverage. Now, check in this case, return on investment. Return on investment is dividend rate. Now, how we calculate this dividend rate? Our earning is 4 lakh, and then this earning will be divided by total capital employed, 30 lakh into 100, which is 13.33%. Now see, cost of debt is 10% and the return on investment is 13.33. It means interest on borrowed fund is less, but the dividend on the equities, our owner's fund, is more. Favorable financial leverage situation means when the cost of debt is less than return on investment. This is known as favorable financial leverage. Means in this case, when the cost of debt, when the interest rate is less than, this is interest rate. When the interest rate is less than the return on investment, this is 10% and this is 13.33%. Clear? When the interest rate is less than the return on investment, in that case company can issue more debenture so that they can give benefit to the equity shareholder by increasing their earning per share. Clear listening? So when the favorable financial leverage means when the cost of debt, means interest rate, is less than the return on investment, means dividend rate. When the interest rate is less than the dividend rate, in that case the company issue more debt so that the earning per share of the shareholder will increase, and that situation is known as a trading on equity. Now if I'll show you one example for this also. If I reduce my earning here, if I reduce my earning by 2 lakh, now ROI will be, in second case, ROI will be 2 lakh divided by 30 lakh into 100, which is 200 divided by 30. It's 6.66%. In second case, our interest rate is 10% only, but our ROI is 6.67%. Here, this is the unfavorable financial leverage situation where the interest or rate means the cost of debt is more than the ROI. This is more. In this situation, our earning per share will not increase. Check in this example only. Now, if we'll take 2 lakh here, 2 lakh here, in same example I am taking 2 lakh here. Interest rate is same 10%. 2 lakh here, only 2 lakh will come. And here 2 minus 1, 1 lakh will come. And here 2 minus 2, nil. It doesn't have anything to give. Now, interest is on 30% here. If I calculate 30%, that is 60,000. In this case, 1 lakh, that is 30,000. And here, no tax because our complete earning has gone in giving the interest. Now come to the EAT. EAT in this case 1,40,000, and here we have 70,000, and here we have nil. Now 1,40,000 earning per share will also decrease. Now 1,40,000 divided by 3, what will come? It's 0.46. And if we talk about this, 70,000 divided by 2, it's 7 by 2 means 0.35 IP. 0.35. See, here the increased use of debenture has decreased the earning per share. Clear this thing? EBIT or EPS. EBIT, earning before interest and tax, and EPS is earning per share. And that says that when a company has a favorable financial leverage, means when the cost of debt is less than the ROI, in that case the company can use more debt, the cheaper source can use more, and it will increase the earning per share. But when the cost of debt is more than the ROI, in that case we should not issue more debts, as it will decrease the earning per share.